an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond.
There's this guy, Avi Loeb, he's a professor at Harvard, that believes it might be an alien probe.
A third interstellar visitor has entered our solar system, and it is behaving like nothing we have ever seen. Scientists named it 3I/ATLAS, expecting a simple rock or comet from another star. But what they found is profoundly unsettling. This object isn't just passing through, it seems to have a purpose. It's not reflecting light like it should, and it's emitting a signal that defies all known physics. We thought Oumuamua was strange, but 3I/ATLAS is rewriting the rules of the cosmos, and the latest data suggests it might not be just an object, but a messenger or a weapon, the anomaly in the dark. It began as a flicker in the dark, a barely there ghost spotted by the automated eyes of the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, in Hawaii. On a clear night, the system flagged a new object moving with a bizarre trajectory. At first, astronomers thought it was just another near-Earth asteroid, a routine discovery. But when they mapped its path, a chilling realization washed over the scientific community. This object wasn't from around here. Its trajectory was a hyperbola, a perfect arc proving it had come from the vast, dark ocean of interstellar space, falling towards our sun from a direction no one had been looking. It was only the third such visitor ever confirmed, and so it was given the designation 3I/ATLAS. The first interstellar object, Oumuamua, was a bizarre cigar-shaped tumbler that sped up for no reason. The second 2I/Borisov looked and acted like a regular comet, giving scientists a sense of relief. They hoped 3I/ATLAS would be another simple cosmic snowball. They were wrong, dead wrong. The first clue that something was deeply weird about Atlas was its color, or rather, its lack of one. When the James Webb Space Telescope turned its powerful golden eye towards the visitor, the data that came back was baffling. The object was almost perfectly black, darker than charcoal, absorbing over 99% of the light that struck it. Get this, it was so dark that it was almost invisible against the backdrop of space. It wasn't reflecting light like a comet or an asteroid, it was swallowing it. This wasn't some natural dusty space rock. This was a stealth object. Spectrometers, which analyze light to determine what something is made of, came back with nonsense readings. The surface seemed to be coated in a complex carbon polymer, a type of material that has no business forming naturally in the cold vacuum of space. It was more like an advanced radar-absorbent coating than rock or ice. Then came the second shocker, its movement. Interstellar objects are supposed to whip around the sun and get flung back out into the galaxy like a slingshot, but 3I/ATLAS wasn't cooperating. As it drew closer, traveling at a blistering 100,000 miles per hour, astronomers noticed it was slowing down. Not by much, just a tiny, almost imperceptible change, but it was undeniable. Something was acting against the sun's gravity. With Oumuamua, some scientists like Harvard's Avi Loeb suggested it was outgassing from hidden ice that made it accelerate, but Atlas was slowing down, and there was absolutely no tail, no gas, no dust, nothing to explain it. It was as if it was firing some kind of invisible retrothruster, gently applying the brakes. The implications were mind-boggling. Was this a deliberate maneuver? Was 3I/ATLAS trying to stay? The tension in observatories around the world was thick enough to cut with a knife. This was no longer just an astronomical curiosity. It was a genuine anomaly, an object that was breaking the known laws of celestial mechanics. It was big too. Based on the tiny amount of light it did reflect, they estimated it was at least half a mile long. A half-mile-long, light-absorbing object with a non-natural coating that was now adjusting its own speed as it entered our solar system. The excitement of discovery was quickly being replaced by a deep and profound sense of unease. They had found something that shouldn't exist, the endless night. To say this thing came from far away doesn't even begin to cover it. We throw around words like light year, but our brains can't really grasp the scale. A single light year is almost 6 trillion miles. The nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. To get there with our fastest probe would take about 80,000 years. And get this, based on its trajectory, 3I/ATLAS didn't come from a nearby star. It came from the direction of the galactic core, a journey that could have taken it millions, if not tens of millions of years. For all that time, it was utterly alone in the brutal, unforgiving wilderness of interstellar space. The conditions out there are a nightmare. It's a realm of absolute cold, just a few degrees above absolute zero, where molecules themselves nearly freeze solid. But the cold is the least of its worries. The real danger is the storm. The space between stars isn't empty, it's a churning ocean of lethal radiation. As our own Voyager 1 probe discovered when it crossed that boundary, our solar system is a tiny protected bubble. Outside that bubble is a never-ending hurricane of galactic cosmic rays, the shrapnel from exploded stars, and the exhaust from black holes, all screaming through the void at nearly the speed of light. These particles can rip electronics apart and shred the building blocks of life. For 3I/ATLAS to survive, that for millions of years means its hull isn't just a coating, it's a shield, an armor so advanced it makes our own technology look like children's toys. And it's not just a chaotic storm. Voyager found something else out there, something even weirder. The void has structure. It hums with a constant low-frequency vibration of plasma, a cosmic whisper that never stops. There are invisible rivers and highways of radiation, and massive shockwaves from stars that died eons ago still roll through the dark like cosmic tsunamis. 3I/ATLAS flew through all of it. It endured the ghosts of dead suns and navigated the magnetic currents of the Milky Way. It survived a journey so long and so violent that it should have been eroded to dust. And yet, here it is, arriving in our system not just intact, but fully operational, with a power source still strong enough to gently hit the brakes against the pull of a star. Think about that for a second. What kind of civilization builds something like this? What kind of purpose is so important that you would engineer a vessel to withstand millions of years of travel through a cosmic war zone? This isn't just a probe, it's an ark, a relic, a survivor. Its very existence is a testament to an intelligence and a technology so far beyond our own, it might as well be magic. The journey it took to get here makes it the single most extraordinary object humanity has ever encountered. But the real shock came when they pointed the radio telescopes at it, a signal without a source. It's funny when you think about it. For decades, we've been straining our ears, listening to the universe with giant radio dishes, hoping to hear a single, intelligent hello from the void. The search, known as SETI, has been met with nothing but cosmic silence. That all changed with 3I/ATLAS, when the Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia and the Allen Telescope Array in California focused on the silent traveler. They weren't expecting to find anything, but what they heard sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. It wasn't a language, it wasn't a greeting, it was something far stranger and far more disturbing. From the heart of that impossibly black object came a signal. It was a faint, low-frequency radio broadcast, but it was perfectly clear and undeniably artificial. The signal was a complex, repeating pattern of pulses. It wasn't random static. It was structured, intricate, and layered. But here's the part that made the hair on scientists' necks stand up. The rhythm was not mathematical. It didn't sound like the cold, precise data stream of a machine. Instead, it sounded biological. The main pulse repeated every 2.6 seconds, a slow, steady beat. Underneath that was a more complex, sweeping signal that rose and fell in pitch, eerily similar to the mournful, haunting songs of a humpback whale. It was a cosmic heartbeat, accompanied by a cosmic whale song, broadcast from an object that had traveled for millions of years between the stars. Immediately, teams worked around the clock to decipher it. Could it be a natural phenomenon we've never seen before? Like a pulsar with a strange magnetic field? They ruled it out. The signal was too narrow, too focused, and too complex. Pulsars are messy. This was clean. This was intentional. The sheer power required to broadcast such a signal across the interstellar void was staggering. To be detectable from our distance, the source would need the energy output of a small star. Whatever 3I/ATLAS was, It contained a power source beyond our comprehension. The debate raged in secret forums and classified briefings. What was this thing? One camp argued it was a machine, an ancient probe, perhaps millions of years old, still faithfully broadcasting its vital signs into the dark. A von Neumann probe, maybe, designed to travel, observe, and report back to its long-dead creators. The heartbeat could be the pulse of its power core. The whale song, a constant stream of diagnostic data. But another smaller group of scientists whispered a more radical, more terrifying theory. What if it wasn't a machine at all? What if the signal was exactly what it sounded like? The life signs of a living thing. A colossal spacefaring biological entity encased in a protective carbon polymer shell, hibernating as it drifted through the cosmos. The idea was straight out of science fiction, but the data was undeniable. The signal felt organic. It felt alive. As the object continued to slow its approach, the signal began to change. The rhythm of the heartbeat started to quicken, very slightly, from 2.6 seconds to 2.5. The whale song grew more complex, with new frequencies and trills appearing. It was as if the object was waking up. It knew it had arrived somewhere significant. It knew we were here. The mystery was deepening into something bordering on cosmic horror. We were facing an unknown intelligence, and we had no idea what its intentions were. Just as scientists were grappling with the sound, the object started to fall apart. 1,000 tiny ships. The moment it happened, every telescope on Earth and in orbit capable of seeing it was watching. 3I/ATLAS had just crossed the orbit of Mars when its smooth, black surface began to flake. But this was no natural disintegration. It wasn't crumbling or breaking up under gravitational stress. What happened was precise, controlled, and utterly terrifying. Hundreds, then thousands of smaller objects began to detach from the main body, shedding from it like seeds from a dandelion. At first, astronomers thought the main object was simply self-destructing, but the pieces weren't tumbling randomly into the void. Each fragment was a perfect diamond-shaped shard, about the size of a school bus. And as soon as they were free, they came to life. Tiny, faint plumes of ionized gas, invisible to most telescopes but clear as day in the infrared spectrum, flared from their corners. They were maneuvering. These were not fragments. They were ships. A swarm of thousands of smaller probes had just been deployed from the mothership, right in the heart of our solar system. A wave of controlled panic swept through NASA, the ESA, and every other space agency. This event escalated the situation from a profound mystery to a potential threat. The swarm, as it was quickly dubbed, began to spread out, executing a series of complex, coordinated maneuvers. They weren't moving randomly. They were forming a pattern, a vast, expanding grid that was beginning to encompass the inner solar system. Some of the shards adjusted their trajectories towards Earth. Others peeled off and headed for Mars. A few even began course corrections that would take them out to the asteroid belt. Believe it or not, the heartbeat signal from the main object, the mothership, stopped the moment the swarm was released. It was replaced by a cacophony of thousands of new, fainter signals from the individual shards. It was as if they were now talking to each other, coordinating their next move. The mothership itself, now visibly smaller, went completely dark and silent, its job apparently done. It continued its slow, steady path towards the sun, a dead husk. The thing is, we were now faced with 1,000 mysteries instead of one. What was the purpose of this swarm? Was it an act of exploration? A fleet of probes sent to study our solar system in detail, all at once? The thought was incredible, but there were darker possibilities. Was this a prelude to an invasion? A kind of cosmic beachhead being established? Were these terraforming devices designed to change the atmospheres of planets? Or were they weapons positioning themselves for a coordinated attack? No one knew, and the uncertainty was the most frightening part of all. We were completely helpless. We had no way to stop them, no way to communicate with them. We could only watch as a fleet of unknown intelligent objects began to systematically occupy our cosmic backyard. The world's governments kept the information under a tight lid, but in the age of the internet, secrets that big don't last long. Amateur astronomers and data miners started noticing the anomalies, and the story began to leak. A neighborhood under siege. With the mothership now a silent, dead husk drifting toward the sun, all eyes turned to the swarm. And what they saw was terrifying in its cold, calculated precision. This was not chaos. This was a plan. Within days, the thousands of diamond-shaped ships had spread out into a perfect geometric formation, a vast, three-dimensional lattice that now enclosed the orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The sheer scale of it was almost incomprehensible. Imagine a fishing net trillions of miles wide being cast over the entire inner solar system. We were now inside that net. Dozens of the individual shards began to break from the main formation and perform targeted maneuvers. Tracking stations watched in stunned silence as one of them gracefully entered a stable orbit around Mars, parking itself in a high-altitude stationary position over the Olympus Mons volcano. Another one did the same thing with Venus. And then a third one began adjusting its course for a much closer approach to Earth, settling into a halo orbit around the L2 Lagrange point, the exact same gravitationally stable spot where we put our most advanced observatory, the James Webb Space Telescope. It was like they were pulling up a chair to get a better look at us. The thing is, these objects are still almost impossible to see. They have the same pitch-black, light-absorbing coating as the mothership, making them invisible to all but the most powerful telescopes. And they are completely silent, except for the faint, encrypted chatter between themselves. They aren't hostile, not yet. They haven't fired any weapons or made any overt threats. They are simply watching, observing. 1,000 unblinking eyes now positioned strategically throughout our cosmic home. The psychological impact was immense. Knowing that a silent black diamond the size of a bus is parked just beyond the moon, watching everything we do, is a profoundly unsettling feeling. World governments are in a state of quiet, high-alert panic. What do? Do you try to communicate? We've tried, beaming messages in every format imaginable, from simple mathematics to complex greetings in thousands of languages. The response has been nothing. Absolute silence. Do you try to attack one? That's the terrifying question. Attacking one might trigger a response from the other, 999. We are outmaneuvered, out-teched, and completely in the dark about their intentions. For all we know, they could be cataloging our planet's resources, studying our biology, or simply waiting for a signal from whatever or whoever sent them. We've gone from being the masters of our own little world to being specimens in a jar, observed by a silent, patient, and overwhelmingly superior intelligence. We've seen strange visitors before, but what if they were all connected to this? We are not alone. We are watched. Suddenly, Oumuamua didn't seem so strange anymore. That weird cigar-shaped object that accelerated away from the sun without any visible reason. The one that top scientists like Avi Loeb insisted could have been an alien probe or solar sail. You gotta wonder, was it just a scout? A single probe sent ahead to check things out, reporting back that our system was inhabited and ripe for a closer look. It zipped through, took its readings, and sped off to deliver its report. Years later, 3 IATLAS arrives, a full-scale deployment. It's a chilling thought, but it connects the dots in a way that makes a terrifying kind of sense. And what about 2 I/Borisov? The one that looked like a normal comet? Maybe it was just that, a cosmic coincidence. Or maybe it was something else entirely. Online, the theories are running wild. Some people are saying it was a decoy, a natural-looking object sent to make us complacent, to make us think, oh, okay. Interstellar visitors are usually just boring comets right before the main event showed up. It's like a magician's trick. Distract the audience with something simple while the real trick is being set up right under their noses. This event has thrown gasoline on the fire of dozens of other unexplained cosmic mysteries. Think about fast radio bursts, or FRBS. These are incredibly powerful millisecond-long blasts of radio waves from deep space. We don't know what causes them. Some of them even repeat. Are they just natural phenomena, like magnetars flaring up? Or are they something more? Could they be the communications or propulsion systems of an interstellar civilization? People are now going back through old FRB data, looking for patterns that might point towards the origin of 3I/ATLAS. And then there's the big one, the Fermi paradox. If the universe is teeming with life, why is it so quiet? Why haven't we heard from anyone? The arrival of Atlas offers a new, disturbing answer. Maybe the universe isn't quiet at all. Maybe we're just living in a protected do not disturb zone, like an uncontacted tribe deep in the Amazon. Maybe advanced civilizations know we're here, and they have rules about non-interference. And maybe 3i/ATLAS just broke those rules. Or even scarier, maybe the heartbeat signal wasn't meant for us. Maybe it was a declaration, a signal to other unseen players in the galaxy that this territory, our solar system, was now being claimed. So what does this all mean for us? Are we just sitting here, watching this unfold on our screens, while something truly game-changing is happening right over our heads? It's crazy when you think about it. All our daily squabbles, all our problems, and this thing is just out there, deploying a fleet of silent, diamond-shaped ships all around us. The thing is, if all this is true, what else are we missing? Is this a one-time event, or have these visits been happening for centuries, and we were just too primitive to notice? This isn't just about science anymore. It touches on the most fundamental questions we have as a species. Are we alone? And if not, are our neighbors friendly? Right now, all signs point to a very unsettling answer. So, is 3i/ATLAS an explorer, a conqueror, or something our human minds can't even begin to grasp? Let us know your wildest theories below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.